What's up, guys? It's Preacher! And considering lately we've been looking at the remaining sort of troubling specs, you know, the ones that need a little bit of work and maybe people aren't too happy with, I thought we'd go back and revisit something that has been changed since the alpha. We looked at a Ret Paladin in alpha. It was a hell of a long time ago now, or it feels that way. And it's had some adjustments and some work done to it. And now we're coming back and having a look at M1. I fucking love this class. It's so much fun. So it's great fun for me. And hopefully I can share with you why the changes I think are really good. And why the community is kind of angry about them. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It's actually a really good time. I really enjoy it myself. So, what did change? Well, the simple fact is, a few of the numbers got tweaked. We're now in the process of balancing DPS. Yeah, Blizzard's making its passes. Things are getting adjusted. Things are starting to work around. The Celestalon, the almighty Celestalon, has said they're going to work on single target first, then look at the AoE. So, numbers are changing now. So, we'll at least have the opportunity soonish to actually check out how people are performing realistically and not going all the time, numbers aren't balanced yet, ignore this, guys. Like I've had to say so many goddamn times with classes just failing and some doing ridiculously overpowered damage. Finally, we'll be able to get to see that. So, we got a new perk. That's a Retribution. Empowered Divine Storm. Oh, yeah. Most of you will know what this is. It was a set bonus in the Siege of Orgrimmar, where your Holy Power Spenders, Templar's Verdict, would give you a free Divine Storm. Ooh. So you guys know what this is. You guys know everything about it. It's free. It deals 50% more damage. It's all good. Why is it made it a little bit more fun? It's just another button. Didn't we say we wanted less buttons in the ret rotation and all that kind of stuff? No, this has actually added another layer of interesting thought to me. This reminds me heavily of DKs during Kata where, and even today, with a lot of classes where people are like, you must press these buttons in this specific order in order to obtain maximum DPS, right? And then you come along to somewhere like here and I say, yeah, in general that kind of works, but look at what's going on around you. You can't just trust in the fucking rotation, right? Similar to when I was saying, you know what, using CLC Ret is fine in most cases in single target, but you have to be paying attention to the encounter. The encounter is telling you what you need to do. It's no good saying, I don't understand why I'm not top of the DPS here, because I'm following my little rotation so perfectly. I did it excellent. I didn't miss out on a single judgment. I didn't miss out on a single Crusader strike, and that makes me the best. No. The other guy over there who's just watching what's going on is like, I need to fuck this up, then I need to go and fuck that up, and then I need to come back to do my normal stuff here. Empowered Divine Storm works very, very nicely with a level 100 talent, goes by the name of Final Verdict, which is my current favourite, I must say. It just replaces Templar's Verdict, but it also has a little bit of utility thrown on top of that bad boy, which is increases the damage and radius of your Divine Storm. Mother of God! Is when that Empowered Divine Storm goes off and you've got that increased 100% radius, it feels like you are creating a tornado of death everywhere. It's like Starfall for the fucking Rets. It's all over the goddamn place and it's hitting like a goddamn truck. It also can self-proc off itself, right? It can also proc itself again, because Divine Purpose is a spell which consumes Holy Power. And this is one of the things that I can see things being nerfed, right? Is that it can proc off itself. So a few of the encounters I'll show you here is just chaining Divine Storms one after the other. Just Divine Storm, and then fitting Final Verdicts in there to get the buff again, so you get the extra damage, all that kind of stuff. And it also works nicely into single target because obviously a buffed Final Verdict Empowered Divine Storm is more powerful than going for a normal Divine Storm. Mathematically, it might come out that, you know, it's not worth doing until a certain point because X does so much damage and you might as well wait till you get the Empowered Divine Storm with the Final Verdict, but till you go and do this. But what I found in testing is currently, sure, there's a call for that in certain scenarios, more single target-ish type stuff, but what I certainly have found is that when it comes to AoE and things start going apeshit on your screen, it's a wonderful time. It's just a great fucking experience. It's just a joy to behold. Quite frankly, it's just absolutely, it's great. When you get these moments of clarity on a class where things just start going off and proccing and all kind of, your character is essentially going bananas, it's great to be a part of that and to play that. And when we look at some of the WOD specs across the other classes, which has become very sterile, controlled, tone it back, especially in the melee side of things where it's like, let's slow this bitch down. And then you get into a class that's like, we're not slowing anything down. And you know what else? It's not fast but still controlled like, say, an Enhancement Shaman, which is like, okay, it's fast, but I have a very specific priority to follow in most cases. What I'm now finding with the Ret Pally, and the way it interacts with its talents, like Divine Purpose, proccing off things, and all that kind of stuff, is it has these moments of absurdity. Moments of absolute absurdity where you're struggling to hold onto the wheel. It's not a case that I'm doing lots of things and driving down a straight road. At this point, the car that I'm driving in the class is actually just swerving everywhere, and I'm just trying to hold onto it to do the best I can until I come off the rails, essentially, and I'm like, oh god, we've got to start again here. And then suddenly it just eases off. It's very much like skidding on ice. It just eases off, and suddenly you're back to your sort of standard stuff where the procs have calmed down again. And then it goes back to normal. And when it's normal, it's still fun. Right? When it's normal, it's still fun. It still has a flow. There's occasional breather periods of downtime in between these absolutely orgasmic arrays of button and lights flashing and all this spectacular fountain of goodness which is flowing out of your character. And right now, I think that is pretty awesome. Okay, so that's my fun side of things. Yes, I enjoy this class. Blow me away because it's cool. When all this stuff happens, I get loads of joy out of playing it. What are the issues that it's facing right now? That's worth talking about because we've got to keep it objective here. As much as I love the Ret Pally, right now, what are the issues it's facing? Certainly that the other level 100 talents are either designed to work at really high gear levels or they need some tweaking in some way. There is also capabilities of just outrageous burst, which is just overpowered. Crazy overpowered. Holy Avenger, which if you should know is like when you generate a Holy Power, you'll generate 3. Typically the healer go-to talent. You mix that with something like Seraphim, right? Seraphim, which buffs your stats by 1500, which is a lot for 15 seconds, right? It's a 30-second cooldown. It costs 5 Holy Power. That's some big money right there, 5 Holy Power. But it gives you 15 seconds of 1,500 increased stats, right? For 15 seconds. My god. Combine that with something like Holy Avenger, which lasts 18 seconds. Notice they line up quite fucking nicely here. And when you're capable of just doing things that shouldn't be allowed in the game. And I'll say it, as much as I enjoy the class, I never want to see anything be overpowered. I don't want that. I want everything to be nice and balanced. So right now, things like Seraphim combined with Holy Avenger and all that kind of stuff, just wiping things out. Combine that with things like critical strike rating and multi-strike, where your crits can then go off again and they can crit and all that kind of stuff. You're capable of seeing numbers that are just like, that shouldn't be happening. Quite frankly, that shouldn't be happening. And that's something that needs to be fixed and looked at. And perhaps maybe swap the talents round. Holy Avenger right now compared to Divine Purpose is really weak unless you combine it with Seraphim. And we don't want to be sort of pigeonholed into there, really. Empowered Seals. This is still a talent I really, really hate. Some people who... I don't know. There's always different types of players. Some players who, like, if I press this button at the right time, I should be winning, right? And then you add in a talent that makes things more complicated, almost unnecessarily, then people don't get happy with that. And the idea of Empowered Seals, or the idea that Blizzard is pushing, is that you should be seal swapping. Yes, seal swapping should be a thing. They're like, yeah, this is why this Empowered Seals things exist, is so you can seal swap. So if you use Judgment of Righteousness, you get 10% haste for 20 seconds. And then you can use Judgment of Truth, that's going to increase your attack power by 15% for 20 seconds. And then you can use Judgment of Insight, which is going to heal you. Judgment of Justice increases your movement speed by 20% for 20 seconds. And what you can do is juggle all these around. So in essence, that's like, you know, that's a few extra key bindings to slap on there that a lot of Ret Pallies probably in the PvE environment just don't bother with. Like, how many Ret Pallies are really using Seal of Insight that often? Not that fucking many. Not that many whatsoever, I'll tell you that for nothing. I know I wasn't. I have Seal of Insight bound on my Holy Pally. God knows why, as I never leave that seal anymore, but out of habit from the previous days. But now you kind of have to switch to one, cast your Judgment. Yeah, your Judgment's still got its usual 5-second cooldown. And then change your seal up to cast another Judgment. Then change your seal back to the ones you want to be using. Your Seal of Truth and all that kind of stuff. And then mix around. So, it's a bit much. I don't like that. I don't like adding all these extra key bindings to get this buff, considering there are other options in there which are like, you know, that's far easier. And ultimately, when things get complicated in an encounter, and this is something I always try and tell people who stick to Simcraft like it's the Bible, is in real world play, it can be more hassle than it's worth. And you might lose DPS because you're trying to work all this into quite a difficult situation in the encounter, and ultimately it's not going to give you the payoff. Kind of reminds me of Plague Leech. Plague Leech is Simcraftia's highest DPS ability for a DK in the first tier. However, no DKs took it because it's just a pain in the ass. It's just a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass that I don't want to deal with. Unless it's ridiculously overpowered, which none of these talents will be, I can't see many people favouring empowered seals. It seems to be something people are going to be pushed into if they have to. If I absolutely flat out have to take this, fine, I'll do it. I'll go ahead. Whatever. Not bothered. Gives me another thing to manage. But ultimately, Seraphim, final verdict, alright. Pretty good. So, I hope that cheered you up a little bit after recent content, because I, for one, had a fucking blast. Alright, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.